on, guys? I'm RSB, and this is the cow next to me, and we're coming back at you with another episode. What's going on, guys? I'm RSB, and this is the cow next to me. Fine. Don't be part of the intro. I see. Whatever. What's going on, guys? I'm RSB, and welcome back to another episode of Just Another Let's Play. It has taken me a little while longer than normal to get this episode out, and that has been because I have been sick. If you can't hear it in my voice, I sound a little bit more nasally than normal, but I am getting better with each and every day, so hopefully I'll be back to my regular schedule sooner than later. In our last episode, we ended up finding new ground, and we built this little shack. This shack, as good as it looks, it is just temporary, so we are going to be renovating this soon, tearing it down, and maybe building a much better house, not before too long, hopefully. And what I really want to focus on this episode is this witch hut that I found over here. Now I do need to get some materials together and go ahead and find some sand to make some panes. I already have some panes made, and then maybe make a little bit more. I did in the last episode gather some sand, that way I can put windows in this, and I did get a little bit more than I needed. Actually, we might have enough right here just to smelt it up and get started without doing all that. So let's see here. Go ahead and make a pane, and I'll show you what I'm going to be using those for here shortly. And I think that should be good. Set my spawn before I go. It should be set, but I just want to make sure that it is set. Man, there is a lot of cows over here. Not a single one wants to be part of my intro. So the witch hut is off this way. Now I did have a couple witches spawn in the last episode when I initially found this witch hut. I do want to make sure that they are fully gone before I start building anything. See something in the water over there, jumping around. Hopefully we can get up here. Just make a little stairway up, make it a little easier. I'm not seeing anything in here. Okay, cool. Alright guys, so I did a little bit of resource gathering off camera. I was able to go down into the nether successfully without being teleported far away, and gathered up some magma blocks. I also gathered up some nether quartz, that way I can make observers and stuff, that way I can make the Trident Killer. I was able to get the Trident from the ground that we killed, and I crafted up various other parts that we're going to need, such as the pistons and hoppers and stuff like that. And we should have just about everything that we need to go ahead and build this thing at the bottom of the witch hut. I do want to place my bed down here, over here, and maybe place a couple torches around it. That way we don't have to keep running back and forth. And I also did a little bit of prep work off camera for the witch hut. I ended up gathering a few lily pads, that way we could just walk and run across instead of having to go through the water constantly. I also added in this netherrack floor here. That way we have a nice solid work area underneath here. And I also cleaned out the witch hut a little bit, took out the windows, the cauldron, things like that. That way we can get started with this project. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to grab a block that we have a lot of. We can use netherrack for this. And we want to cover up all these windows. That way it makes it dark enough in here to spawn mobs. And then we want to go about head height here, grab our glass panes, and we are going to place all of our panes in here. These glass panes are going to mark where the witches spawn at and lock them in place. That way we can find exactly where they spawn at. So what we want to do is we want to cover this up now. And it's going to be fully dark in there to where we can have the witches spawn. And then we are going to mark the coordinate that we are at, which is 2177 on our Z coordinate. And we are going to walk this way, away from this witch hut, about 30 blocks. And every time it passes a 7, we know that's 10 blocks away. So that's going to be about 30 blocks there. Maybe go a little bit further. As long as we don't go past 45 blocks away, they're not going to despawn. And they're going to continue to spawn. So we just want to wait a few moments. That way we can get some witches spawn inside of there. And then once they spawn, we'll be able to know exactly where they spawn because they'll be locked in place by the glass panes. And then we can continue on with the farm. So let's go ahead and check, see if we have any witches in here that spawn. Yep, and you can see we already have a few that spawned in there. Now the rest of these glass panes we can go ahead and break out. There's only going to be ever one spawning place inside of the witch hut on Bedrock Edition. Now this is different for Java Edition. So if you are on Java Edition, you're definitely going to use different tactics for this. However, on Bedrock Edition, you will only have one spawning platform per witch hut. So now that we cleared out all the glass panes, now we need to find out exactly which block the witch spawned on. You can see he spawned in the center of these glass panes. So if you look down here underneath his feet, you can see he is actually centered over 4 different blocks here. And this gives us 4 options for the spawning block that he actually spawns on. Now the way that we're going to determine which block is his actual spawning platform is you could use a few different methods here. I'm going to show you a couple of them. The reason why we got the sunflower. Hold that thought, let me sleep. Alright, I'm back. Now, one of the methods is we can place down this dirt block here. And then we're going to grab our sunflower and we can place the sunflower down. This sunflower, no matter what dimension you are in, is always going to face east. So you can place it down in the overworld, the nether, and the end dimension, and it will always face east. So if it's facing east, which would be that way, we know that north would be this way. So north, south, and then we would have east to the right and west to the left of us. Another way that you can determine this is if you have a locator map. You can open it up in your hand, and whenever the arrow is facing straight up, you know that's going to be north, and then you could calculate your other directions from that: north, south, east, and west. A lot of the reason why I have my coordinates up is because you can also use those. Each coordinate designates a different cardinal direction that you're going to be traveling in. If you look from the left, you have the X coordinate. The center, which is 66 right now, is your Y coordinate. That's going to show your height. So depending as you move up and down inside of the world, it's going to go up, going up, and down, going down. The coordinate all the way to the right hand side, the 2177, is going to be your Z coordinate. That's going to be your north and your south coordinate. If that number on the far right, the last number, is going down, you know that you are effectively going north. If it is going up, you know that you are going south. So that's another way that you can figure out what the direction is by just enabling coordinates. You can enable that inside of your setting menu. And then you can also verify with the sunflower facing east. You know, east would be this way, so north would be this way. The reason why that is relevant is because the mobs will spawn on the northwest side of blocks. So once we figured out our direction, we know this walking forward is north, we know this walking left is west, so northwest will be this direction. The mobs are going to spawn on the northwest side of the blocks. So if he is on the very northwest side here, we know that this here is going to be our spawning block. So what we want to do is break this spawning block here. And then we are going to mark this with a different block. That way it stands out. At this time, you can kill your witch. And then remove the remaining glass panes. So once we have done that, we want to go ahead and break out these blocks here facing towards the northwest side. And this is basically going to be the spawning block, but the witch, as I mentioned, is going to spawn on this very most northwest corner. So we want him to spawn there and be able to fall down inside of this hole that we made. Beneath here is going to be our Trident Killer, which is going to be killing the witches. So on top of this spawning platform here, we want to place down a solid block, and then we want to grab our glass and place a piece of glass right here on top. This piece of glass is very important. This is what actually pushes the witches into the hole. Once the witch spawns here, the game mechanic from it spawning inside of a piece of glass automatically will push it out of the piece of glass. And on this area where I'm standing now, we're going to enclose all this. So it's not going to be able to push this way. The only way for it to be pushed is down here into the hole. We are going to leave this block here for now, just to keep from having witches spawn while we are working on the farm. And let's see if we can't find where that zombie went. He must be in a cave below us somewhere because I cannot find him. Alright, anyways. So at this point we want to grab some of our wood and we want to build this down a little bit. And we basically want to enclose all of this in. That way we are lined up properly with where we need to build. And then we are going to grab our pistons. And on the right hand side, we're going to place a piston down facing. And you're going to walk forwards, turn left, place down another one. Walk forwards, turn left, place down another one. And walk forwards, turn left, and place down another one, just like so. We want these to be dropped down a single block below the spawning platform because all of this is going to be filled with water. Let me sleep real quick. Before you build a farm, you want to do as much research as possible to learn the game mechanics that can aid you in building this farm. Doing research on the witch, you will find if a witch falls on top of magma blocks or in fire or lava, they're going to almost instantaneous drink a potion of fire resistance to protect them. That's why magma blocks cannot be used in killing witches. Also, if a witch falls inside of the water that is at least 2 blocks deep, then they're going to drink a potion of water breathing as well. If a potion is being held by a witch and it is killed, it has a 100% drop chance that it's going to drop that potion. So we can use these game mechanics to not only farm all of the various types of items that you get from a witch normally, such as gunpowder, redstone, glowstone, and things of that nature, but also if you design this properly, you can get the witch to drop the other potions as well to give us the fire resistance and the water breathing potions. So a little bit extra work and you're able to gather things that can be very handy inside of the future. So now that we have it all lined up, I want to go ahead and remove these blocks here that we use to align everything. And this is going to be the floor of the Trident Killer here. So what we want to do is we want to carve this out a little bit. And I want this to come out this direction here. So I'm going to have magma blocks where these netherrack are. And then I'm going to have the hopper minecart down at this level here. So I'm going to want my hopper down about this level here. So for now I can go ahead and open this up. And then place down my double chest here. Break this and totally flood everything. And then we can replace that. Grab some hoppers. And then we are going to crash place a hopper into that right there. Let me grab some more dirt fill this in, but leave the hopper exposed. And it probably wouldn't be a bad idea just to place a piece of glass on top of that chest for right now, just to keep the hopper minecart from moving around. I'm going to place a rail down on top there. And then I'm going to make a hopper minecart. Then I'm going to take that hopper minecart and place it down on this rail. This dirt's going to keep it from moving back and forth. And since this rail is facing north and south, we can go ahead and remove that glass. Once we have done that, we can grab our magma blocks and we can totally fill this in all four corners. These magma blocks, if you have Frostwalker, you can walk on these without getting hurt. If you don't have Frostwalker, then you're going to have to crouch while walking on them. Next thing you want to do is grab your stairs. And we want to place our stairs in these four corners, except not upside down. We want them right side up. And then you want to place a solid block in each one of these four corners, just to keep the water from leaking out. And then you want to grab your signs that we made up, and you want to put a sign on the back of each of these pistons. The reason being is we are going to be waterlogging these pistons, and if you waterlog a piston and you don't have something on the back of it, it's not going to hold the water in, and you're going to have water leaking out at the back. So we want to make sure all four of these have a sign on them to hold the water in, just like so. And then at this point you can go around and place your final stair in. And now we can waterlog them. So grab your bucket, and you want to click on the piston and the stairs on all four sides. And then just make sure that you waterlog every single one of these. That way they are all water source blocks. And then here. And here. Got some more water. Now at this point we are going to place our observers in. So you want to go ahead and grab your observers. We're going to remove this piece of wood here. Once you have the entire top open to where you can work, you want to take your building block and place a solid block that can conduct redstone on top of each piston. And then you want to face your observer facing away from that block that you just placed to where the arrow faces in towards that block. You want to continue this around, going in the same pattern to where the redstone signal travels the proper way, to where it makes a complete loop. Then you want to grab your droppers. You don't have to use droppers for this. You can use the powered rails. However, for ease of materials, I'm just going to use these droppers. The droppers can be a little bit more noisy, so some people don't like to use them. But for this case, I'm going to use it. A dropper there. And then we are going to take our redstone repeater, and we're going to place this redstone repeater down. Once we place down this repeater, it's going to be updated by this observer. This observer is going to put out a power, which is going to transfer all the way around and make a redstone clock. So once we place this down, our Trident Killer will begin to run. The purpose of this repeater is to adjust the speed of this Trident Killer. This repeater is in here to slow things down, to help the witches fall into the Trident Killer. Let me go ahead and grab the lever, and you can place this lever down on any of these droppers here and turn it on, which will turn off the Trident Killer. Now you can go ahead and look down into here. Everything is looking good. However, what we need to do at this point is waterlog this top level. So we want to grab our water bucket, and we want to place some water down on that observer there. Grab some more water, and then we're going to bring this in to make a water source. inside of here. If you go in both perpendicular corners, these are going to make an infinite pool of water and auto fill in. Once you have done that, we can go ahead and grab our pickaxe and remove this piece here. Then we can go ahead and take out this nether rack, and I'm just going to replace this with some oak wood to make it look a little bit better. I would use some spruce wood, however there's not any spruce trees within several miles of this place, so that's going to have to be something that's done at a later date. Now that it's nighttime, I'm going to jump in bed, and then I'll be right back. So what we want to do at this point is focus the point in which our witch is going to spawn. The glass block will push them off, but we need to fill all of this in to keep other things from spawning, and to also focus where the witch is going to go. So I'm just going to fill all of this in with wood. And then you also want to make sure that there is no light coming through. Then we can go down here, and we should probably build this out just a little bit more, just to give us a little platform to stand on. And also to keep the water away whenever we go to dig down to find our chest. Once you're down here, you can go ahead and remove this rail. You don't have to remove the rail. However, it's something that I like to do just to be careful, because you want to make sure that you're hitting the rail and have the hitbox of the rail selected. Because if you don't have the rail selected, you're going to hit the hopper minecart and break it. So just be sure to select the rail before breaking anything. Down here, you want to just add a torch. That way you don't have any spawns that occur. And then you also want to make a little stairway up. Be careful not to have any break in the side where water's going to be allowed to come in. Once you have done that, you want to spawn proof a little bit more around here. So go around, and you want to just place some torches down to keep things from spawning. You want to also do the same thing up here. And then on the very top of the roof, you want to make sure that there's torches up here or slabs up here to keep things from spawning as well. You don't have to make any kind of perimeter here, because our AFK spot is going to be about 40 blocks high off of this deck. And none of these other places around here are going to be a plausible spawning spot for hostile mobs. So that being said, you don't have to do any kind of perimeter work with this witch farm. What we want to do now is we want to go about 30 blocks in that direction, and we want to see if we can't get a witch to spawn in here. So we are at 77 now. We know every time we pass the number 7, there's going to be 10 blocks. So that's 20. And that's going to be 30 blocks away there. We can wait here a couple of minutes, just like we did before, to see if we have any witches that spawn inside. Alright, that should be enough time, so let's go and take a look and see if we have any spawns inside of our witch hut. And I can already hear them in there. Breaking this, they should have been pushed off and down into the water. And you can see that they are down there throwing stuff at me. So we are just going to close that back up. However, we are going to have to open that back up and throw a trident in there. This trident, even though the durability is all the way down low, wow, they're throwing a lot of potions. Even though the durability is down low, this is not going to take any damage from being kicked around inside of the Trident Killer. This will only take damage once the player throws it. So as long as I throw this and I'm not hitting any mobs, it's not going to take any damage other than the initial throw. I might have to kill these guys off real quick. Got kind of a witch party going in there. Then I should be able to push this, throw this straight down here. Oh, that didn't go as planned. Alright, so as I was saying before I almost died, you want to just throw your trident down in there. And then once it's down there, you can go ahead and turn on the Trident Killer, and you should hear it bouncing around. So let me turn this on. And you can see the tridents being bounced around down there. So what we want to do at this point is grab our oak wood planks and box this back up so it's totally dark in there. And now this farm is going to be active as soon as we get far enough away. Now if you go this direction and you're on land away, you will have witches spawn in here, but you are also loading all kinds of other spawning places if it's nighttime on the ground out here, and all of the time in the cave spawns below you. So the way to eliminate that is, like I said, you want to make a spawning platform, which I need to go and grab some material for. Alright guys, I just grabbed some more material and it is the next morning. What we want to do is grab that out of there. You can already see we got our first gunpowder, but I think that's from me killing the witch. So we're going to leave that on. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. And we need to go up 40 blocks. Actually, let me turn this off real quick while I'm talking. We need to go up 40 blocks. Down here we have 1, 2, 3 blocks here. And they're going to be spawning on this platform. So if they're spawning here and they fall down, they're going to fall down 3 blocks to where they're on top of this magma blocks. So that's going to be an additional 3 blocks. Mobs spawn at 24 blocks from the player, and they will despawn 44 blocks from the player if you are on a simulation distance of 4, which is what I am playing on. So we need to go up 40 blocks. Do this. We need to go up 40 blocks. So this platform is where the witches are going to spawn on the inside. We want to stay as close to this witch hut as possible, as close to the spawning spot as possible. And if we go up 40 blocks, we know that we are 43 blocks away from the area that the witches are going to fall down on. So there's still going to be between that range of 24 and 44 blocks of the spawning in and then the despawning of the witches. So we're going to put 40 blocks inside of our hotbar here. That's going to make it to where we really can't mess this up. If we build up from here, we know we're going to be exactly 40 blocks up. So one problem that I was running into is this Trident Killer will basically turn into a big washing machine and push all the mobs all the way around with the water inside of it. So we want to kind of put a force stop inside of it to where it's not going to be a continuous cycle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and break this cobblestone block here. And then on this observer, I'm going to place down a cobblestone block there. And then I'm also going to place another cobblestone block on the top here, which is going to be our spawning platform. And we're going to see if that takes care of the problem that we were having. So let's see if we have any in here. Yep, we definitely got a few in there. So let's go ahead and close that back up. I want to remove whatever items are in here and then turn it on. Well, unfortunately, it does look like the new update has broken this waterlogged Trident Killer, so I guess I'm going to have to remove the water. and just have the ability to get the fire resistance potion from the magma block. So let me go ahead and remove it, and then let me sleep first, then I'll remove it, and we'll try it out. Alright guys, the water is all removed. There's no need to really reconstruct this. I just had to unwaterlog the pistons and stairs, which can be kind of a tedious process, and that should about do it. Now, something happened inside of the newer update to where the waterlogged Trident Killer, if the witches are underwater, the Trident does not push any damage to them. So I don't know what that's about. However, it has changed since the last time that I made this farm. So we're just going to use the magma blocks. We should get plenty of potion of fire resistance. Anyways, we just won't get the potion of water breathing, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and close this up and see if we can get some witches to spawn in here. Well guys, one thing I didn't think about is now because we don't have the water in here to basically make the light level go down, so the witches are not able to spawn in here. So if we cover this up, you can see it's still way too bright in here for these to be able to spawn. Well, I just got back from looking up the light levels on these magma blocks, and I found something very interesting. These are actually a light level of 3, and if you block this off like so, you can see we have a lot more light in here than a light level of 3. The light level in here is more like 8 or 10 or maybe even a 12. However, I don't have any way of seeing that because we're on Bedrock and we do not have access to the F3 debug menu that Java does. Hopefully that will be added into the game soon, but as of right now we don't have that feature. But I do have an idea, so let me go and test out that idea and I will be right back. Alright, so I tested out my idea and it seems that it works. You can see it is a lot darker in here, so we should be able to get the witch spawns now. What I ended up doing was I changed out the stairs for the actual solid wood block, and because stairs are technically transparent blocks, they let light through. Well, something that I learned is after I replaced all of these stairs with solid blocks, I was still having a lighting problem. Well, believe it or not, these pistons are letting light through also, which only does make sense because they are considered a transparent block as well. But I, for one, even knowing that it's considered a transparent block, I did not know that it would actually let light through, so I learned something new today. So now that we covered up the pistons with the blocks on the back of them, and we replaced those stairs, now we have a nice dark place for the witches to spawn. So let's go ahead and give this a try. So now I'm going to turn on the Trident Killer, and I'm going to go up here and AFK for a little bit, and we'll see what we get. I did end up crafting up some ladders while I was off camera to add to this, that way we can actually get to the top of our AFK spot. And I did have to drop this down one level because I was just high enough to where I wasn't gaining any spawns inside of there. So with that being said, we should be getting spawns now. I'm going to AFK here for an hour or so, and we will see what we get here shortly. Alright guys, it's been a little longer than I anticipated on AFKing, but I had some things that I had to take care of. Let's go ahead and see what we got down here. You can see we got a ton of potions. Let's see, a ton of potions there too. More there, plenty of sugar. Some more potions. Potions of swiftness. A bunch of sticks, potion of healing. And we should have, yeah, right there, potion of fire resistance. That's going to be really handy inside of the nether as well. Plenty of redstone, which, you know me, I love my redstone. Glowstone dust, gunpowder, we gotta have our gunpowder. Got all kinds of stuff in here. So, it looks like this is definitely working. And the amount of work that I put into this paid off. I do need to dress it up a little bit, make it look a little bit better. But that's going to come in future episodes. So I'm going to AFK up here for a little while, and hopefully by the time I get done AFKing off camera, we will have lots and lots of stuff to aid our adventures in the upcoming episodes. And I'm going to get a pretty decent view while doing it. I still have yet to really explore this area a whole bunch. That's going to come inside of the episodes to come. But for now, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. And I don't think that arrow is rendering quite properly inside of my hand. Anyways, this has been a extremely long episode. I don't know how much of it is actually going to make it onto the episode that I released for you guys. However, I have been recording this for hours and hours because the first take of this video I just was not happy with. And I don't feel right releasing footage to you guys where I don't feel like you're going to enjoy it the way that you should. So I pretty much redid the entire episode. So it does take a lot of time and effort for me to get these videos out to you guys and make sure that I'm putting out quality videos for you guys. So if you can, hit that like button for me. I would really appreciate it. It really helps out the video, and it really helps people see my videos. It helps people find my channel that are not subscribed, and helps my channel grow. Any and all support is always greatly appreciated. If you have yet to subscribe, then please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. That way you get notifications on each and every video that I upload. That way you don't miss a single thing. I also have loads of other content on my channel. Check it out. There's a bunch of stuff. There's tutorials for redstone. There's, of course, the Let's Play that you're watching now. I even do the new beta update videos. So check those out because they are bringing in a whole lot of new exciting features for the game. And the beta is getting closer and closer to launching the Caves and Cliff update, which we are all so very excited for. This has been RS Built. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.